What's going on, guys, and welcome to Who to Sign For. Now in this series I'm giving you my recommendations on what players to sign for a specific team in career mode. But before we go on, I will say that the signings you'll see aren't designed to be realistic, which is very important, and that the player ratings and potentials may vary depending on what database you're using and how they perform for you during the season. You don't have to follow all the tips. This is really just a set of guidelines to give you a hand if you're stuck for ideas and want some suggestions on what players you could sign for a certain club. This is mainly aimed at those you out there who may be new to the game and just want some help, or for those you out there who may just be stuck for ideas on what players you could sign for a certain team in career mode. So in today's episode of Who to Sign For, guys, I've got a really interesting team. Now when I do these episodes, I tend to stick to the big European clubs in the biggest European leagues, just because I think it's better that way to really give a lot of tips and splash a lot of cash, because that's what people want to see. But I'm going to do a really different team today and go outside the normal top 5 leagues in Europe and try a team who have a lot of great young talent. And we're going to the Netherlands to use Ajax. Now, I've never done Who to Sign For with a Dutch club, but the Netherlands, the league, the Eredivisie, or how you pronounce it, has a lot of young talents in it, and Ajax are a team with a ton of young talents. Now, their starting budget is around £12.9 million, with alterations to the wage budget, you're more looking at about £11 million. And they're a 4-star team. Their objectives in the first season are to win the league title, reach the cup semi-finals, and also reach the Champions League group stage, which if you draw with seeded teams to begin the game, you already meet that European objective anyway, so that one's kind of pointless. But still, if you look at their team here in the squad report, it's a team just full of young talents, youth players coming through of really, really good potential and decent starting overalls as well. And I've got to say, this is definitely a team I would recommend to do a career mode with if you're someone who loves Road to Glory type feels and wants to use a team with a limited budget to begin with, but a lot of great young players that you can gradually build up as the years go by and turn them into superstars. Now, they have 2 players that are contract coming at the end of the year, Boer and Sereno, a goalkeeper and a central midfielder. I would let both of those guys go. The goalkeeper is 70 rated, the CM is 72 rated. Both of those guys can go. There's a few players loaned out as well. You might be tempted to recall one, that's Mitchell Dykes, currently at Norwich right now. You can get him back from Carrow Road for a really cheap fee of 126 grand, and it wouldn't be a bad thing to do either, because Ajax only have one registered primary left back right now in, is it Sint-Graven? I think it is. And yeah, you can probably recall him, or you can sign a new one, and that's what I chose to do, to bring in a new left back to compete with the only current one they have right now. But yeah, definitely sell Sereno, I should say. You're not going to need him. Get anything around his valuation. He's 26 and 72 overall. He's not good enough for the first 11. His contract coming the end of the year, and seeing as Ajax have so many great young talents, this guy is not part of the long-term future. So sell him in the first transfer window if you can. And again, also Boer as well, the goalkeeper, 30 years old, who's 70 overall. 35 years old even, 70 overall. This guy certainly isn't part of the long-term future at the Amsterdam Arena. Get rid of the guy and get as much scratch for him as you can right away. So those are the 2 players I'd recommend selling. But as for new signings with Ajax, and again, with a £12 million budget, or around a £12 million budget, you're not going to be able to splash too much cash. But as I did say a moment ago, I was going to sign a new left back for Ajax. I think that would be a great position to look at for a new player. And unlike my normal Who to Sign For was where I'd target 1 or 2 players, David Alaba or Kurzawa, this is why I was really excited to do an Ajax one, because I knew I wouldn't be able to afford those guys. So I chose someone different. Obviously, I had no choice. Antonio Barreca, who is a Torino fullback. What is it with Torino and fullbacks and wingbacks, by the way? Bruno Perez, Darmian. But Barreca, the left back here, 21 years old, 74 overall, very decent young talent. Barreca is an Italian fullback and he has 85 potential. So already he goes straight in the first 11 and have really decent potential for the future. We put in a bid of £5.5 million after the original one was rejected, and Torino said that was totally fine. We offer him a contract, we wait and see what he says. As you'll see, sadly, he declined the first one, but eventually would accept the second one and agree to join us despite his reluctance to relocate, and he would become my first signing for Ajax. So Barreca comes in, 74 overall, 21 years old. It is a little bit over his valuation, but he'd be worth every single penny, and you know that for sure. He goes straight into the first team. He's got good potential for the future at 85, and also 90 stamina as well at just 21 years old. That's only going to get better. I love high stamina on fullbacks, and that certainly is a player to look out for in the future. But as for more signings with Ajax with the money left over? Well, the one other area I'd recommend is the striker role. Now, of course, they have Kasper Dolberg, who is their current striker right now, and very good as well at 76 overall, some really good potential. But as well, I would recommend a new striker too to play alongside him if you switch to a two-striker formation, or at least for the bench. And this guy, I mean, he's the one you've got to go ahead and get if you've got the money for him. I'm sure you know who he is. It's Mbappe, who currently plays for Monaco right now. If you've seen him play this season, you'll know why this guy's got so much hype. He's only 17 years old, and he's already proving himself as one of the best young talents in world football. You can pick him up for around 8 to 10 million pounds, or possibly a little bit less than that if you're lucky. His valuation is 5.5 million pounds. I got him for 7.5 million pounds, and this guy has 92 potential. He's got one of the highest potentials in the game. He's got the joint highest for a 17-year-old as well, alongside Gianluigi Donnarumma of Milan. A very awesome young talent. If you've seen him play in real life, you'll know exactly why his potential is so high. This guy has all the makings to set the world on fire in a few years. He's got some absolutely awesome stats to begin with right now as a teenager. Imagine the guy when he's at 92 overall. And for 7.5 million pounds, you will make an awful lot of money on the guy if you decide to sell him in years to come, or you can turn him into a world beater and make him your focal point of Ajax's offense. He's an absolutely awesome player. Brilliant stats. A 4-star weak foot as well. Definitely worth the signing in my opinion. And again, for £7.5 million, you might spend a little bit over or a little bit under. Believe me, just get him for whatever price you can. He'll be an unbelievable player, and 92 potential is just insane. But as for more signings with Ajax, I did decide to try and buy a new backup goalkeeper after selling Boer, who was their second choice. And I went in for this guy, Thomas Didilon, but Metz wouldn't budge on £5.5 million, and that's 2.4 million over his valuation. Now, if you want, you can sign him for around that fee. That's about how much it will cost, £5.5 million. He's 71 overall. I think it's 71 or 72 overall, possibly. One of those two. And he's got 85 potential, I do believe, as well. Mid-80 potential regardless. Now, if you want to sign him as a backup goalkeeper, you can do so. Or you can do what I decided to do, which was loan in a backup goalkeeper. Because right now you've got Onana, who's a Cameroon goalkeeper. And he has 85 potential. He's their current number one for Ajax right now. You don't need someone to compete with him for the number one jersey. Just let the Cameroon guy have it, and you can sign someone on loan instead for the bench. It will cost you no transfer fee whatsoever, and you'll just be paying his wages. So that's what I decided to do, and I loaned in Dragowski, who himself has 86 potential, and even though he wouldn't be a permanent Ajax player, you could have him for 2 years and just pay his wages. Keep an eye on him, see what he's like, and if you want, maybe in the future, put in a permanent bid for the guy. But you don't need to sign a new goalkeeper to compete with Onana for the number one jersey. Let the Cameroon goalkeeper have it and just sign someone cheaper for the bench. And that's why I bought Dragowski on loan. I thought it'd make a lot of sense just to do that and save your cash, as opposed to wasting it on a backup goalkeeper who, again, you don't need, as the Cameroon goalkeeper is just as good. But as for sales as well, I also sold one more player for my Ajax, a third player, Lasse Schöne, the Danish midfielder. He's been at Ajax for a few years now, but I would recommend selling him. He's 30 years old. You can get around his valuation for him. He is 70, I think it's 77 overall at the time of selling him, which is still very good, but he's likely to decrease in the first season. And as I always say, if a player is hitting 30 or just about to hit 30 or is over the age of 30, if you can sell him in the first season, it's probably the best thing to do, because they're going to decrease in stats and just deteriorate in terms of value as well. It's worth getting as much scratch for him as possible as you can right now, and that's exactly what I did. I sold him to Real Betis for £5.5 million and then went in search of a new midfielder as well, and this was the guy I settled on. Now, if you've heard of Mbappe, you've already heard of this guy as well. Yuri Tielemans of Anderlecht, the Belgian midfielder, 19 years old, already 77 overall, and this guy has 87 potential as well. A really awesome young talent in world football. And what you may have noticed as well is at the start of the episode, you see the objectives. One of their objectives for the, I think it was the financial or the brand exposure objective, is to sign a crucial player in the midfield role. Well, if you give this guy a crucial first team player contract, as I do right here, that will meet that objective as well. So this signing wasn't just to improve the team, but it was also to hit that objective as well. Killing two birds with one stone. Yes, that was right. Killing two birds with one stone by hitting the objective and signing a better player for the future. And again, you may be spending close to double the money you got for Schöne, but at the end of the day, you're thinking about the long-term future. And Tielemans definitely is someone for the long-term future. 87 potential, and despite being the same overall as Shone, you're thinking about the future, and Tielemans would be a great player already for Ajax right now as the same overall at 77 at just 19 years old. So in the end, I spent £23 million on 3 new players and also loaned in Dragowski as well and sold 3 players who I will classify as deadwood at Ajax. And I would definitely say that all of those signings would really complement the lads from the Amsterdam Arena. Again, the backup goalkeeper is an interesting one. If you'd prefer to sign a permanent goalkeeper, I definitely would recommend the Mets goalkeeper Didilon. Otherwise, though, just loan in one. I think that's better to save your cash and just have one for the bench on 2 years, only paying his salary, which is also quite cheap at about £9,500 a week. That's my recommendation anyway, but it's up to you to do whatever you prefer there. But as always, we simulated the end of the season with the team and see how they would get on without me and see how the players would do. A reminder, their objectives were to win the league, to reach the Cup semi-finals and also reach the Champions League group stage as well, which, as I mentioned earlier, is guaranteed to be met if you drew with seeded teams at the start of the game. When they did win the league title, they finished 3 points clear of Feyenoord, so were the best team in the Netherlands, winning the Eredivisie, and also as well in the Cup they reached the semi-finals, so they met that objective as well before they were eventually beaten by the eventual winners PSV Eindhoven. And in the Champions League as well, they were only supposed to reach the group stage. They actually went one step further and reached around the 16th stage, so made it through their group before being knocked out by Juventus. So that was also quite nice to see as well. So they met their first 2, the domestic objectives, and also exceeded the European objective as well. And that's a pretty solid first season with Ajax. So you can see the team then come the end of the first season, and you can see already the players Tielemans, Mbappe, and also Bareka developing straight away, and Dragowski as well. This is a really, really fun team. And my closing statement on Ajax, as I always do one towards the end of the episode, is this: if you are bored of the same old teams and the same old top 5 European countries in career mode, definitely give these guys a try. They've got nice kits, they've got a real stadium in the Amsterdam Arena, they've got heaps of young talent, the budget is not astronomical, so it's going to be a relative struggle in the first couple of seasons to try and get a bit more money accumulated. And it's just a really, really different type of team, but it's set up for a road to glory right away. It's a really, really fun side, and I would certainly recommend them. With just so many young players in the team, it really is like you basically got like a school for football. It's a really, really awesome team, and I would definitely recommend it. So thank you very much for watching this episode, guys. I do hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, then please do leave a like, as likes are of course very much appreciated, and they really help the channel out as well. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic night, and don't forget to leave me a comment and tell me what team you'd like to see me manage next in the series, and I will see you for the next episode of Who to Sign For very soon. Bye.